What's going on, guys? Welcome back to another episode of the Craftavore Tastes. I'm your host, Max. And today we're digging into an extra special beer here. We are digging into a beer from the Alchemist in Stowe, Vermont. This is Holy Cow, and it is an American IPA coming in at only 5% ABV. So, interesting, right? IPA, 5%? Probably lean more towards being a pale. So, a little bit of background on Holy Cow. Holy Cow actually was a IPA that the Alchemist brewed back at their old Waterbury brew pub, and I believe this is a beer that they used to have on draft constantly, pretty much every single day. And I don't know if this is the first time since they have brewed it in their new location. After the old brew pub, I believe it was Hurricane Irene, was essentially destroyed. I don't know. I don't know. But a good buddy of mine, Jay, actually was able to get this can and was super kind enough to pass it along to me. So, Jay, thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. So again, like I said, Holy Cow, an IPA, 5% ABV, so should be a really super nice, easy drinker. Let's go ahead and go through the drill, man. Let's go ahead and pop a top on this guy. Let's take a look at the appearance, get the aroma, taste it, and then we'll rate it. All right? So, go ahead and open this one up. I'm super, super excited to get it into a glass. Yeah, nice amount of head there. All right. That's the back. Put this guy over here. All right. I could already smell it. All right, cool. So, tremendous amount of head actually pouring out of there. A couple of decent, nice fluffy, or fingers of, fluffy kind of white head. Beer comes into a medium gold color. Looks kind of nice. It's got a slight little bit of haze, more like a chill haze going on, right? It's actually a little bit more on the clear side. In typical Alchemist fashion, which I have to admit, I am less increasingly becoming I've never necessarily actually been a fan of it, but I'm becoming a little less tolerant of it. If I pull it really close, there is a tremendous amount of yeast floaties and proteins and stuff going on over there. Yeah, drink from the can, right? Yeah, there's a bit of, I think this is an area where I get it. It's their thing, and, doesn't seem to bother most folks. And traditionally doesn't really bother me all that much before, but I don't know. Last kind of focal banger I had a couple of months back, and even now this one, it's getting to the point where they just look pretty disgusting in a glass. Sorry. Just a lot of floaties. This one isn't as bad as the last one, but, I'd be kind of unfair if I didn't kind of mention just my thoughts on it. All right, so that's the appearance. Let's go ahead and stick our nose into it and get an aroma. Okay. Wow. So a lot of the last kind of beers that I've had from the Alchemist, it had been a while since I had from them again, and Holy Cow is obviously no different. It is grassy. It is green. It is a pungent, almost kind of onion garlicky thing kind of going on in there. I believe this beer is brewed with Mosaic and Columbus. So slight bit of that kind of berry note that you would get out of Mosaic, but it's not dominant. What I feel is dominant in the nose is it is grassy, it is kind of herbal, it is green, it is kind of a little bit pungent, while at the same time, I can even get out of obviously the nose that it's going to be a pretty super kind of crisp kind of beer. Onion, garlic, maybe green onion, heavy kind of herbal, kind of grass green quality. That's what I'm getting out of the aroma. So let's go ahead and give her a taste. Jay, thank you so much for hooking me up with this can, man. I really appreciate it. Cheers. That's nice. So as I kind of expected, straight up front of the tongue, a bit more of that, very kind of grass green kind of note. A little bit of kind of bitterness kind of going on middle of the palate there, but it's nice. It's got a very kind of manageable bitterness to it. It's nothing that's really kind of hanging out on the palate there, but it does have a little bit of that. It does have a little bit of that bitterness bite, which is actually quite nice. And as I expected, it's a very kind of crisp kind of beer. Super nice tasting. Getting a little bit of that kind of berry-ish note from the Mosaic, but not really anything too dominant. I would definitely say I've had more kind of that kind of like, that berry-ish note that a lot of people talk about with Mosaic. I've definitely had it a little bit more prominent in other Mosaic beers. This one it's there, but again, it really is mostly dominated by that crisp, kind of clean, green, herbal, aggressive kind of note. You're getting that in both the aroma and the taste as well. Go back in for another taste. Oh man, yeah. Onion garlic for days, at least for me. Again, super kind of crisp and clean, kind of nice. Yeah, I freaking dig it, man. And for 5% ABV, I mean, again, listed as an IPA, probably more in the traditional pale ale sense. But let's go ahead and give this one a rating, man. It's a good beer. I really, really like this beer. I realize I kind of took it a little bit to task for the look, with all the floaties going on. And again, that's going to kind of be par for the course for Alchemist beers. So, different strokes for different folks, right? Like, that probably won't bother anybody. It's just something that I did want to mention. But the beer tastes really, really freaking good. And at the end of the day, to kind of get that kind of flavor kind of profile coming out, and that kind of, that green and kind of that grassiness and that kind of oniony garlicness coming out of that type of flavor coming out of a beer at 5% ABV is pretty freaking awesome, man. Yeah, I could easily sit back, and knock a bunch of these back while I'm mowing my lawn. Like, that's the kind of that's the kind of beer that I think holy cow is. And I think it's really, really good. Let's go ahead and give her a freaking rating. One last taste though before I do so. Yeah. Nice. Nice beer. Really like it. Straight up, 4 caps from Craftavore Tastes. I think that's a really, really nice beer. Again, it's something that they used to obviously have on years ago, 7 days a week. So it's cool to be able to have that, then bring it back here and me to be able to kind of, review it for you guys and get a taste. I think it's pretty awesome. So yeah, 4 caps from the Craftavore Tastes. I think holy cow was a really, really nice beer. And if you're ever up in the Alchemist recently, I think they obviously still have some cans of this going up on there. So pick it up, add it into it, right? Like, it's a nice 5%, simple kind of drinker that you can just kind of knock back maybe when you're doing some yard work or mowing your lawn. All right. So 4 caps of the Craftavore Tastes. That'll do it for this episode. Hope you join me again for another episode where I drink, I review, I rate, and I repeat. Cheers.